here is the foundational model. Meaning times progress, not plus. Because one of the things we've noticed is that when meaning and progress come together, something bigger than the sum of its parts happens. It can be quite magical. So meaning times progress equals passion. Now, one of the things that was really interesting as we started to look at the research, we started to understand some of the subtleties here. This is often what we think of when we think of meaningful work. Social justice work, really helping people, and it absolutely is meaningful work, no question. But what was surprising, what also people considered to be meaningful work, could be things like keeping the office well organized, archiving, just to play off of this picture. Right? There is no bias in terms of meaningful work. It is what it is for you. So here's one of our first insights, really. The type of jobs people have definitely influence passion, but anyone in any job has the potential to experience honest, authentic passion in their work. And so a lot of our workshops are built on really helping people see that and grounding people in that. And then very quickly we had a second insight, which was that the literature often talks about meaningful work being the product of your work. So what's the product of your work? When you think of what do I actually produce, that tangible thing, what's the product of your work? Human potential, performance improvement, some people it might be a report, client satisfaction, and what is the actual product you produce? What are you hired? What are you paid to do? But that is only meaningful work for some people. Other people get meaning from their work in terms of how they work, how the work gets done, the process of their work. It's less important for them what they produce. It's more important for them how they produce it. So working on a team where communications are open, where creativity can flourish, the way in which they work together is most important to them. The type of relationships they build, the quality of the work, the quality of the product is what's interesting. I do a lot of work for insurance companies, and a lot of people who work within insurance companies sometimes struggle with, okay, the product of the work. There's often a phase where they go through really struggling with that. However, many, many, many find great satisfaction in how they do the work. So teamwork, creativity. Third insight, to experience passion requires action. The literature doesn't talk about this very often. The literature really focuses on doing work that you really care about, that you love. But they don't talk about that you actually have to take actions that then must feel like progress. So all action is not created equal. I can be busy. I can do a lot of things and not feel like I'm getting anywhere. Right. So to be passionate in your work, yes, you have to have meaningful work that's meaningful to you. You have to care about it, but you also have to be taking actions that actually feels like real progress, that you're getting somewhere toward these things that matter to you. The other interesting thing is what tells us we're making progress. Well, we're constantly scanning our environment, looking for signals of progress. Scanning the environment to be told that we're on the right track. What's also interesting is these signals of progress are often not conscious on our part. We don't always know what we're looking for. So I have objectives. I achieve those objectives. That doesn't make everyone happy. We work with a lot of people who achieve their objectives and they don't feel like they're making progress. They don't feel like they're in passion flow. For some people, a signal of progress might be making their numbers, for instance, if you're on a sales team. But for others, it might be building good client relationships, that when that client tells you, hey, you've done an awesome job for me, that feels much more like progress to them than making the numbers. Right. So signals of progress are very specific to individuals. For some it is money, for some it is competition, for some it is relationships, for some it is watching someone else grow, looking at the numbers. There's a full range. Recognition from others. It's endless, actually. What you see as your signal of progress is very unique to you. There are these broad categories, but again, just like meaning, it can get down to very, very specific things. what I want to leave you with is a little bit maybe of insight that often we look for behaviors that to us seem like, oh, that's passion. But we might be right, but we also might be wrong. One of the things that we learned very early on when someone walked in and said to an interview and said, I don't know why I'm here. Oh, okay. Well, you were nominated because you were identified as someone that was really passionate about their work. Yeah, I don't know why I'm here. Okay, well, let's find out why you're not passionate then. But what happened? The first interview question is, tell me about your work. As this gentleman started to speak, his energy level went up. He had some very interesting things to say about his work. He was absolutely passionate about his work, but he himself had associated passion with extroversion, with being big and dynamic and all of those things. It wasn't that at all for him, but his internal experience was passion. He really found his work meaningful, and he definitely was seeing signals of progress. So I was very humbled by this, and I suspend judgment all the time, because you don't really know what that internal experience is. But when someone does start to talk about their work, if they are passionate about it, we have yet to see someone who doesn't become more within their range. Slightly more animated, slightly more focused. There is a change of energy, when people are talking about work that they really love. It doesn't have to be big, but you can definitely feel the shift.